Hi, hello. My name is Sergio. I am your English teacher, and this is a video that is a little review of tenses for English class. So I hope you enjoy it, and welcome. Welcome again to English class. And today, what I'm going to do for this video is a little review of tenses for English class. What is the objective of this video? What is the objective of the class? Well, we're going to review the differences between tenses, and you're going to see some examples. Do you remember what a tense is? Have you ever heard about tenses? Let's review. The tense is the grammar structure we use in sentences to indicate the time. The tense is the structure of the verb, the conjugation of the verb that lets you see if a sentence is in present, in past, or in future. During the course of other English courses, you've been able to learn and you've been able to review many different types of tenses. So for this class, for this little video, what I'm going to do is review the differences between the simple present tense, the present continuous tense, the simple past tense, the past continuous, present perfect tense, and future tense. So what are we going to do? You're going to see what are the differences between these different tenses, and we're going to see some examples. So let's begin. Do you remember what is the difference between the simple present and the present continuous? Well, we use the simple present to talk about repeated actions in the present, and we have two types of sentences in the simple present. We have routines and general facts. So remember, routines are repeated actions in the present, and a general fact is a piece of information that is true. So we use the simple present to talk about routines and general facts. What do we use the present continuous for? Well, we use the present continuous to describe ongoing or continuous actions in the present. Actions that happen while we are speaking. So the simple present, we use it to refer to routines and general facts, and the present continuous, we use it to talk about activities that happen as we speak. Let's see some examples. In the simple present, I study English every day from 9 to 12. That is a repeated activity. It's something I do every day from 9 to 12, so that is a routine. My mom cooks lunch from Monday to Friday. So that means that every day my mom gets everything ready and she cooks lunch. It's a routine. It's something she does every day. My dad orders food from a restaurant every weekend. That means that every Saturday and Sunday he takes the phone, he calls a restaurant, and he orders food. It's a routine, it's something that he does every weekend. Stuart never plays the violin. That means that it's a routine, it's something he doesn't do. The moon goes round the earth. Remember, this is a general fact because the fact that the moon goes around the earth is true. It's something that is real and it happens all the time. How often do you talk to your friends? That is a question. Remember that the auxiliary verb we use for questions in the simple present is the verb do or does. Sometimes we play chess before we go to bed. So sometimes it's a routine, it's something that we do repeatedly with a different frequency, but it's something we generally do. So these are examples of the simple present because these are repeated actions, these are routines, and one of these is a general fact. And now let's see some examples of sentences in the present continuous tense. I'm studying English right now. Remember that we use the present continuous to describe actions that happen while we're speaking. I'm studying English right now. It's something that I'm doing as we speak. At the moment, my mom is working in the garage while Hector is using the computer for class. That is something that is happening right now. That's what we use the present continuous. Remember, For the continuous tenses, we use verb to be. For example, Hector is using the computer and my mom is working in the garage. Now, Susan and Stella are practicing the conjugation of some verbs. What are Susan and Stella doing as we speak? What are they doing now? Well, they are practicing the conjugation of some verbs. That is what we're doing right now. So remember, that is the difference between the simple present and the present continuous. Simple present, repeated actions in the present, routines and general facts. And present continuous, we use it to describe actions that happen as we speak. Now we have the simple past and the past continuous. Do you remember the difference between the simple past and the past continuous? We use the simple past to describe actions in the past that are finished and have unspecified time in the past. That means that we know when the action happened. We use specified times in the past. Examples of specified times in the past, well, yesterday, 2 weeks ago, a year ago, at 9 in the morning, in 1995, in 2015, May 1st, 2020. Remember, we are in the simple past, we use specified times in the past. In the past continuous, we use it to describe actions that are ongoing or continuous in the past. Let's see some examples so you can see the difference. These are examples of the simple past. Yesterday we had hamburgers for lunch. When did we have hamburgers for lunch? We had hamburgers yesterday. That is an action that happened in a unspecified time in the past, which is yesterday. I went to Mexico in 2019. When did I go to Mexico? Well, I went to Mexico in a specified time in the past, which is 2019. We didn't have class last week. When didn't we have class? Well, last week. This is a negative sentence. Remember, the auxiliary verb we use for a negative sentence in the past is didn't for all the subject pronouns. Christopher Columbus arrived in America in 1492. When did Christopher Columbus arrive in America? In 1492. That is a sentence in the simple past tense because we haven't specified time in the past. Jorge Eliezer Gaitán died in 1948. When did Jorge Eliezer Gaitán die? Well, he died in 1948. 1948 is a specified time in the past. That's how we know that the sentence is in simple past. Now let's see some examples of sentences in the past continuous. While I was studying English, my brother went shopping. While I was studying English is a sentence in the past continuous. Remember that we use the past continuous with the past simple to say or to describe when one action happens after the other or when it happens at the same time. While I was studying English, my brother went shopping. First, I started studying and then my brother went shopping. What were you doing when the accident happened? Well, this is a question we use to ask a person what was he or she doing at the same or before the accident happened, and then next I'm asking about the activity he was conducting or developing when something else happened. What were you doing is the question in the past continuous. We were not talking on the phone when Susan arrived. That is a sentence in the past continuous, but it's a negative sentence. Remember that for the past continuous, we use verb to be and not for a negative sentence. Ernest was singing in the shower this morning. Ernest was singing in the shower this morning. It's an example of the past continuous because we're talking about an activity that is ongoing or continuous in the past. That means that the action had a duration in the past. It was not a finished action, it was an ongoing and continuous action in the past. And that is the difference between the simple past and the past continuous. In the simple past, we use specified times, yes, but the actions are finished. I went to the doctor yesterday. But remember that in the past continuous, the actions are ongoing or continuous. I was going to the doctor when my phone rang. Now, let's see the difference between the simple past and the present perfect. Remember, we use the simple past to describe actions in the past that are finished, have specified times in the past, so we know when the action happened. But the present perfect? Alright, we use the present perfect for activities that have non-specified times in the past. What specific actions are we talking about? We're talking about unfinished actions, repeated actions, or actions that are very recent. So remember, the difference between the simple past is that in the simple past, we have in a specified time in the past, but in the present perfect, we have unspecified times in the past. There are four types of activities in the present perfect. The first one is actions that started in the past and continue to the present. For example, I've studied English for 2 years. That means that 2 years ago I started studying English and now I'm still studying English. Dennis has learned a lot since he became a student. That means that in the past he became a student, he started learning, and now he's still learning. Carla and I have been friends since we were kids. When we were kids, Carla and I became friends, and now we are friends still. Have you finished your homework yet? But that is a question in the present perfect. I'm asking about something that started happening in the past. I started my homework in the past, and probably I'm still doing my homework. The second type of activity in the present perfect is repeated activity in the second type of activity in the present perfect is repeated activities in the past when the person is alive. I've traveled to Europe 3 times. That means in the past, I went to Europe 3 times, but the time's not specified. I'm not sure when I went to Europe. I'm just saying that it's a repeated activity in the past. We've seen that movie 5 times. That is a repeated activity in the past. Lorena has eaten in that restaurant many times. That means that is a repeated activity in the past. But I am not sure. I don't have certainty of when the activity happened. And number 3, we talk about life experiences. For example, I've never talked to Gerardo. Have you ever tried octopus? And I've never gone bungee jumping. Remember that when we use time experiences, we generally use never and ever to talk about experiences in life. And number 4, the last one, is very recent activities, actions that finished recently. For example, I've just finished my report for class. Claudia has just left. So, those are the 4 types of activities in the past for the present perfect. And the last one, the last tense we're going to review, remember, we use the future tense to describe activities that haven't happened yet. What are the different tenses and what are the different structures we use for the future? Well, we use be going to for intentions. What is an intention? An intention is a plan. An intention is something I or somebody else wants to do. For example, I'm going to learn English this year, but that is only an intention. I haven't scheduled anything, I haven't paid for any courses. This is an activity that I plan to do, but I haven't paid, or I haven't scheduled the activity. Present continuous, we use the present continuous for arrangements. An arrangement is something you have already planned and probably paid. For example, I'm flying to New York City tomorrow. This is my ticket. I already have a ticket. The activity is already arranged, so I use the present continuous. We use will for spontaneous decisions, offers, and promises. It's so cold. I close the window. That is a spontaneous decision. That is something I just thought about doing and I say that I want to do it. It's so cold, I'll close the window. Those bags look heavy. I'll help you. That is an offer. I'm offering to help a person who's carrying very heavy bags. I won't buy that painting, I promise. I am promising someone that I will not buy the painting. So we use will, or in this case want, for spontaneous decisions, offers, and promises. And we use will, or we use be going to state predictions. It won't rain tomorrow is a valid prediction, and it's not going to rain is also a valid prediction. So, that is the use of different grammar structures to talk about activities and the future. Let's make one last little review. The simple present. What do we use the simple present for? We use the simple present to describe actions that are repeated in the present or to talk about facts that are true. For example, the moon goes around the earth or the sun rises in the east. Those two are general facts. Or for example, I have breakfast every day at 7 in the morning. I study English every day from 9 to 12. Simple past. We use the simple past to describe or to talk about actions in the past that are finished and have a specified time in the past. For example, Christopher Columbus arrived in America in 1492. I did my homework last night. Present continuous. We use it to describe actions that are ongoing or continuous in the present, actions that happen while we're speaking or as we speak. And we use the past continuous to talk about ongoing or continuous actions in the past. So, that was my review for tenses in the past, the present, and in the future. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you in class. Bye bye.